Well, guys, despite a great 2024 for us where we've made buys that are up 50%, 60% more in just a few months, and even our stocks that have floundered forever, it seems, are finally moving like PayPal, finally doing what we thought it would do. But that only happens when you have a great plan in place to take advantage of the opportunities that always come up. But chaos is about to reign high with the upcoming election, the Fed decisions putting us on edge, crazy geopolitical chaos, and other tenuous situations being right on the verge of exploding that are going to affect Tesla. They're going to affect Palantir, SoFi, and many other stocks that we own. The good news is you will get my complete plan to dominate times like this and absolutely take advantage, but there is a massive warning that you have to understand, or it's going to unravel all the great stuff, all the great planning that you do. It will unravel all of it if you don't heed that warning, so you're going to get that too. I don't want your plans unraveling. I want you buying Palantir in the 6s, SoFi in the 4s, Tesla in the low 100s, and a lot of other great stocks like that. That's what I want you to be able to do, like we have done in the past successfully right here on this channel. That's the spot you're going to be in if you're prepared. So let's do that today. Just make sure you hit that like button if you like getting the truth without the hype, because that's exactly what you're going to get today, guys. You're going to get actionable information to actually be able to get the truth and take advantage of times like this and to not be afraid at all. So I'm going to give you the 4-step plan that I'm using to absolutely continue to dominate this market. Now, in the short term, I'm going to be dumb, just like I was dumb for buying Palantir at 8 because it fell down to 6. And of course, I was buying Palantir at 6 and I was dumb because it was inevitably going down to 5. And then they were going to go bankrupt and it's a terrible company. But I kind of like the way that actual buys turned out over the long run. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for short-term wins. I'm looking for long-term massive victories. That's what I'm looking for. That right there is what this plan does. If you're looking for little short-term wins, then wrong place. You guys got really the wrong channel altogether. It's not what I do. I'm about long-term victories. So I'm okay being dumb in the short term to be a huge winner over the long run. It's how it's worked for 25 years for me, and it's worked out quite well. So it's a strategy I'm going to continue to implement today. So step number 1, I will take what the market gives me. Guys, don't play their game. They will give you opportunity. They always have, and they always will if you don't play their game. Now, let me kind of explain what that means, because I know that can be confusing at times. I don't care about anything else. I just want to continue to buy undervalued assets, regardless of whether it's the stock that I want to buy or not. And maybe I want to do another stock. Maybe I want to put more money into another stock. Sometimes Wall Street just won't give you the opportunity in that particular area, in that particular segment. So you've got to take what the market gives you and just buy what is undervalued at the time. I don't always get to buy the stocks that I necessarily want to buy. I may be really, really itchy to build out a position in this stock. Well, if I'm so itchy that I can't be disciplined, okay, then just DCA. There's nothing wrong with that. A DCA is really, really hard to beat. But to get those massive, game-changing victories, you have to have patience and take what the market gives you. So let me give you a little bit of an example here just to illustrate this. The last time I bought Apple, I was buying shares at $115 per share, right up in that range or so. But that wasn't necessarily the position I wanted to build out. I have more than a full position. I have way more Apple than any person ever needs probably. But nonetheless, that was what the market was giving at the time when I actually kind of wanted to add, because of the growth rates, because of everything exciting was going on with Tesla. I actually wanted to add to Tesla. But Tesla was at $400 per share. So instead of FOMOing in and trying to create crazy projections to trick myself into doing it, and of course the market was all about, oh, Tesla could go to, 1,000, 1,500, whatever the case was. It got ridiculous at that stage. I simply took what the market gave me and I bought Apple instead at 115. Patience allowed me to take what the market gave me at the time. And then guess what happened? Just a short while later, the money was flowing into Apple like no tomorrow, and nobody wanted Tesla, meaning you were basically able to flip the equation. Apple continued to run from that $115 level. Now we're up well over $200 per share, and you were able to buy Tesla down in the low 100s. Man, it was looking real close like we were going to get up underneath 100. We didn't, but I was buying those shares in that low $100 range, which of course those shares are up nicely now. So not only did I win with my Apple buys, I won with my Tesla buys as well, as opposed to most folks who, unfortunately, if you bought Tesla at those high levels, you lost a lot of money during that time frame. And more importantly, you may have poured into Apple whenever it was close to all-time high, so you really haven't gotten good returns in regards to your Apple shares. Being patient and taking what the market gave me allowed me to be in that position to where I won regardless of what happened. I just had to be patient. And those that are patient, Warren Buffett says, The stock market is essentially taking money from the inpatient and transferring it to the patient. And that is a perfect real life illustration right there that everybody saw in real time happen in regards to my stock picking. And yes, guys, there are some years where I really don't get to build positions and build out positions further in any stock that I want to buy out because of valuation. And that kind of leads me directly into the next point. Step number 2, put in the work and have price targets for each stock that I own. You can't execute on number 1 if you don't know what fair value actually is. You actually don't understand valuation. You don't actually understand, is the market overvalued or undervalued? If the market tanks, you won't understand exactly what you own in regards to the stock itself. So you may make that mistake that a lot of folks did in 2022 and panic sold towards the bottom because it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get lower, instead of using valuation as your metric to understand where the stock is in relation to stock price. And of course, that kept you out of trouble in 2021, understanding stuff was way overvalued. A lot of stocks, not all stocks. And of course, in 2022, understanding they were significantly undervalued and the market was overreacting. And again, trying to win in the short term instead of looking at that long term. That's what having valuation and price targets does, is it allows you to see very, very clearly where a stock is at. Yes, I have full courses and coaching to show you exactly how to do this step by step and do evaluation and get raw price targets. And yes, the Labor Day sale is still on because I forgot to take it down. So for those of you guys that are paying attention and want to learn, it's still there. You can take advantage of it. There's a lot involved. We're way more in the group in regards to that. Buy and sell alerts, complete watch list with price targets. So many things going on. Just check out the pinned comment down there. We'll talk about the rest at the end here in regards to that, because we got to get going with the next steps in the plan here. So bottom line is, you got to learn it. I don't care. Don't join my group. Join somebody else's group. Google it. Punch it right here in the YouTube bar. Take a course on it. It doesn't matter. You have to learn it. And no, guys, there is no secret formula out there. You could just plug in a ticker and it gives you the answer to what is the valuation of the stock and a lot of other things like that. It is so much more nuanced than that. There is no tool that tells you that or anything else like that, guys. It doesn't exist. You've got to actually put in the work and do your due diligence to understand the company on a high level and to be able to do an actual valuation. You want shortcuts or trade alerts or anything else from somebody who doesn't do actual valuations on every single stock that they invested in and talk about, well, you're just asking for trouble, especially as a long-term buy and hold investor. And I think we've seen that play out over the past few years. So I think the vast majority of folks know not to do that. That is fool's gold in the end. You got to do your own valuation, set your own price targets, and understand the companies intimately in regards to you. Because the hardest part about stock market is the mental part. That's the hardest part, not necessarily getting the right answer. It's what do you do with that answer in the end. Step number 3, continue to raise cash and look for ways to increase my income and reduce expenses. Look, guys, I bought like crazy in 2022, that whole year, because that was the time to quote unquote go all in, push all your cash all in, just go, and every dollar that comes in was going out and going into the market there. And 2023 kind of started that way too. However, it kind of, valuations got stretched. The stock market really, really had a great year. So I started stacking back cash, not knowing what was going to happen, not trying to guess the market or time the market or anything else, because nobody knows when those next opportunities are going to come, right? I mean, we got that little flash crash thing because of the Japanese yen carry trade, whatever, all that garbage. You got basically a morning to take advantage of it. Well, those folks that have been stacking cash for more than a year, still buying based upon price targets, but not having crazy deals to where you need to pour in all the time like we got in 2022, those folks that were prepared and ready and had cash set aside were able to buy huge chunks of shares at ridiculous prices. Even in a great stock like Palantir, you're able to buy in the $20, $21 range, which of course you see how massively you're up on those buys since then. It kind of ebbs and flows. We get kind of basically times like we did at the end of 2023 where you got some deals again, you're able to buy again. Same thing at a couple times here in 2024. We've gotten some great deals and some great stocks, and I was able to buy heavily and add during those times. But a lot of the time has been, hey, it's been a nice run in the market. You can look to a lot of different metrics and see, hey, there's a lot of things that are kind of overvalued or a little bit frothy right now. So I just continue to be disciplined and stack that cash. Not trying to guess what's going to happen, just understanding, once again, going back to one of the earlier steps, just understanding that I'm taking what the market's giving me right now. And right now, it's not giving me a whole heck of a lot in regards to what I'm looking to buy. Now, there's other stocks to buy. There's all kinds of screaming deals right now in the stock market, just not anything that I'm looking to buy. I'm not looking to chase somebody else's best stock to buy or anything else. I'm looking to just look at mine. But this is exactly how you ensure that you always have capital to invest. What most people do is they spend everything that they have, they chase, they do all these other things, or they spend on other things altogether because they got extra cash. And instead of waiting for an opportunity over in the stock market, they decide to spend it on maybe a new car, maybe a vacation, whatever the case is. Not judging right or wrong here, but in regards to folks that always are able to take advantage of it, the reality is most folks don't decide to take their cash seriously until we hit these crazy times where all of a sudden there's massive opportunity. And now they're going, oh man, I wish I had more cash. Oh man, I wish I had more of this. I wish I would have, taken my money more seriously at that time. What if I want to start a side hustle right now to start building it up? At that stage, it's too late. You've got to do it when you don't feel the need to do those sorts of things. You've got to do your financial audit as soon as possible. Start cutting expenses as soon as possible. Start increasing your income as soon as possible. The best time was yesterday. The next best time is today. Invest in yourself today. Sacrifice today so that way you're able to take advantage whenever that next time comes, because I don't know when it is and neither does anybody else. I know everybody guesses every single year. Sooner or later, they're going to be right. And in the meantime, every single stride that you make every single day to increase your income, lower your expenses, continue to be more disciplined with your spending, be disciplined with your cash and not worry about, I want to have this much cash or that much cash, whatever the case is. Hey, just start stacking it back. Get that emergency fund built out so that way your family and all your bills and all that other stuff's taken care of. And then you can focus strictly on your investing and investing that cash, because that's when it gets fun. That's when you start waiting for opportunity. And when you get one, you can just buy with reckless abandon, knowing full well I'm going to be down in the short term, but long term, I'm going to make a lot of money. We just saw a cycle. We've basically seen two almost super cycle type instances in regards to what the stock market was doing in terms of giving you incredible opportunities with massive returns very, very quickly on the back end there. And so if that's going to continue, I don't know. I just know I am prepared for them, and I want you guys to be prepared for them as well. So you've got to start stacking cash when that opportunity comes. Don't wait to fix your money. Don't say I'm going to fix my money next year, or whenever this clears up, or whenever this calms down, I'll fix my. No, best time was yesterday. Best time after that is today. And again, waiting until tomorrow, you'll end up waiting the next day, and then another crash will happen, or another exciting flash crash will happen for a half a day. And you'll be saying, oh man, I wish I would have blank. And that's the worst situation to be in as an investor. But unfortunately, it's the situation that most people find themselves in. If you don't want to believe me, I understand that completely. We have group members that started implementing these exact things, took our money course, did it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and now they're in a spot they couldn't have dreamed of 2 or 3 years ago with just a little bit of work. So, we kind of start thinking about that. Hey, if you would have started doing this just a couple of years ago, you could be in that same exact spot right now. So it's not just, oh, Luke, you're in a different situation than everybody else. Well, that could be true. But I also have other folks that have followed the same exact thing, been in the same exact spot you've been in, and are now in a much better spot nowadays in regards to being able to take advantage of the market when those opportunities come. So don't neglect it. Take care of yourself and your future. And step number 4, ignore Wall Street, the media, and YouTube, and stick to facts. Look, guys, I don't care about Michael Burry, Bill Ackman, or any other investor out there. I don't care what they're doing, what they're saying, Kramer, anybody else. Doesn't matter to me one bit. Just simply doesn't matter. Same way, I don't care about what economists are out there saying too. How many economists make great investors? Guess what? They don't. I think Warren Buffett is on record as saying, if you got an economist on staff, you have one too many employees. So why in the world would I listen to economists who throw up all these pretty charts and graphs that 100% of the time predict the right thing when routinely they're wrong? They're 100%, never miss graph ends up being wrong as well. And we end up in a different spot than they predicted altogether. I don't care what the traders are doing at all. I don't care what hedge funds are doing. I'm not a trader, nor am I a hedge fund, nor am I trading in and out of stocks or doing what hedge funds are doing. So why would I care? I don't care about the latest hot stock. I don't care who's all the talk of the town, who's leading the AI race, or anything else like that. None of that stuff matters to me in the end. They are all distractions, and in a lot of ways designed to be a distraction from what's actually going on. All of those folks, economists, all of them, traders, hedge funds, everybody else, they're all wrong way more than they're right. And let me give you a few examples. In 2021, it was keep buying stocks. You need to put money into the equities. Everybody's going in the stock market. It's going to the moon. This can keep rally. The rally can keep going. Blah, 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 on and on and on. The reality, it was one of the worst times to buy stocks, as many of us out there found out. And then we had 2022, which was essentially a recession is coming, maybe a depression. Inflation is going to reach 20 or 30%. The Fed doesn't know what it's doing. Just stay out of equities. The earnings are going to get way worse. We got earnings apocalypse coming. Every single quarter, they predicted an earnings apocalypse that's coming. And guess what? We didn't get an earnings apocalypse, but we got cheap stock prices, which meant it was the best time to buy stocks, not the worst time like everybody else was saying. And then we saw basically a repeat in 2023. Hey, there's a giant recession coming. We can't avoid it. A hard landing is 100% what's going to happen. So you need to sell and get defensive. Get defensive with your positions. Have a lot of cash on the sidelines. There's more coming, guys. Just wait. And the reality was, it was one of the biggest rallies that we've seen in the market. I know we had group members that were up hundreds of percent in their portfolios in 2023. Thank goodness they didn't listen to that and got defensive and sold and went more cash heavy and all that sort of crap that was out there. Thank goodness they stayed in the market and enjoyed those sort of gains. It was one of the best years I've ever had in the stock market as well. Facts matter, and where you get the facts is not from all those other sources. You get them from the earnings. That is what matters, not the fancy charts and graphs, not all the can't miss this, not all the predictions, not all the experts. I put them in air quotes there, experts, not any of that sort of stuff. What matters is what's in earnings. That's how I knew what to buy, what the economy was actually doing. You want to know what the economy is actually doing? I don't care about the Fed data nearly as much as I care about what bank earnings is telling me, big bank earnings. They'll give you the real deal as to what's going on with the actual economy, not only from the consumer side, but from the business side as well. And I'm not talking about the headlines and the YouTube videos talking about Jamie Dimon said this or so-and-so said that. No, listen to the actual earnings. Put in the hour and a half time to listen to the actual earnings, and you'll figure out those are all just clickbait headlines in order to carry a narrative of fear and whatever the case is, which of course gets clicks, it gets likes, it gets people following you, which is the design of all that content, not to give you the actual truth of what's going on out there. That's in the earnings because there's a legal obligation for them to give you actual real data with that. Influencers, media types, the news. Man, there's never been more useless news out there on both sides of the media than we have right now because they're just interested in getting clicks, likes, all that sort of stuff. If you want the actual truth, you go to the earnings. Go to the actual earnings calls. That's where you get the truth as to what's actually going on. All right, so let's go on to the warning next because, guys, this is what can derail you. We've talked about the 4 steps I'm going to use to do it. They're really, really simple. I know they seem simple. Now, there's a lot of work to be done within those steps, but those are the 4 basic steps that I'm going to use during this time frame to keep myself laser focused on what all is important because there is going to be a lot of chaos per se going on right now. But this warning right here will derail all of your plans. It will absolutely take you completely off track. No matter, you could have the most incredible plan in the world, laid out perfectly spot-free, but if you don't heed this warning, it's going to unravel everything. And that warning is, don't fall for, if this happens, we're doomed thinking. Every 4 years, I guess actually every 2 years when we have the midterms, but every 4 years exactly, and especially since I've been an active investor, I have heard if this person or this person is elected, it's the end. It's the end of the economy. It's the end of the US. It's the end of the stock market. It's the end. Every single time we have a presidential election, that is the narrative that gets put out there. By both sides, everybody's doing it. It's not uncommon. But in the 25 years I've been actively investing, it has not held true one time. It has never. We have had tons of ridiculous things happen. We've had tons of things that nobody ever thought would happen have happened during these time frames. But yet it hasn't mattered one single bit. It just hasn't. Those are facts. You can see it very, very clearly in the data. And I know, I hear you guys right now, this time it's different. I have also heard that every single cycle for the full 25 plus years I've been investing. Not only have I heard this is the end, but I've also heard whenever presented with the facts of, well, it hadn't been the end the previous 25 years, so why is now all of a sudden the end? Well, this time it's different. Every single cycle, the same exact things get regurgitated. Sure, the fears are a little bit different. The reasons are a little bit different. In the end, it hasn't been true once in 25 years. Same exact thing with, well, if this country invades this country, the stock market's going to tank. Hadn't been true once. The reality is, with the stock market, we either have one of two things happen. We have a black swan event that nobody knows about, nobody saw coming, that happens, or it was a combination of multiple events all kind of coming together and kind of creating a scenario where we saw the market, basically, crash at that stage, go down significantly during a significant period of time. That has been the reality for the past 25 years in the stock market. But never once has it been, if this one thing happens, we're all doomed and the stock market's just going to tank and we're all going into a Great Depression 4.0 or whatever the case is. Not once has that ever been true with anything that anybody could predict. So if you fall into that thinking, you will make decisions that will hurt your investing overall. I have seen it personally in my life. I have seen extremely wealthy people lose tens of millions of dollars with that sort of thinking. I have also seen very, very wealthy folks, very, very smart folks, really great investors lose out on fortunes because they let those sort of things cloud their judgment. And instead of investing, they just decided to wait on the sidelines because everything's doomed if X, Y, or Z happens. And they ended up missing out on a complete fortune. Don't want that happening to you guys. I don't want you doing all this great planning, all this great work just to have it all unraveled because of a media narrative or a political narrative or some other sort of a narrative that's out there. Reality has been very, very much different throughout the history of the stock market. So if you're betting on this one thing happening, that's a one-off that's never happened before, well, you're basically taking the losing bet at that stage. And yes, I'm getting ready to take down the Labor Day sale where you can learn exactly how to do your valuation, do price targets. You can see all my buy and sell alerts in real time, see my complete watch list with price targets. Take 5 courses for free. Use our stock analyzer tool for free. Get your free coaching. Be able to be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there. We got a stock analyzer tool. Guys, we have so much in there. There's no group out there that has more for less. Make sure you check out the pinned comment. Take advantage of the sale before it goes away and the price goes back up. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.